The president's first visit to the Middle East since taking office has gone off largely without a hitch. But tomorrow, President Biden is set to meet with Saudi leaders, including Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. With us tonight to discuss is Ben Rhodes, former Deputy National Security Advisor for President Obama. Ben, I'm really glad you're here tonight. This is a complicated trip. During his campaign, Biden promised to make Saudi Arabia a pariah. But you say this meeting was inevitable.
Well, I'm not happy about it, though. I wish this meeting wasn't taking place. And look, I've been in the White House, and what happens is you're looking at a lot of problems coming at you, and they're thinking, we have a huge problem from inflation. If we can get the Saudis and OPEC to do any more oil production, maybe that would help. We have a huge challenge with the war in Ukraine, and we don't want the Saudis and the Emiratis, who've been kind of fence-sitting on that war, to drift in the direction of Russia and China. You've got this Abraham Accords that is a Trump initiative in which the Gulf states are drawing closer to Israel. That's a lot to do with Iran and their opposition to Iran. So there are all these short-term reasons that could compel a president to say it's easier to just make up with MBS and the Saudis, get this over with, rip this Band-Aid off. But the biggest problem, the bigger problem, Stephanie, is that, you know, the two existential challenges that we face as a country, that we feel every day, is the collapse of democracy all around us and climate change. And in the long run, those short-term impulses that I think are compelling this trip, you know, they end up winning the day over the things that we really have to do in the long run. And at some point, I really think that has to change.
I hear you, Ben, but here's the problem. We live in a world of short-termism, and those long-term solutions that we desperately need, President Biden or other Democrats aren't even going to get a chance to address those things if they get wiped out come November. So once this war took place in Ukraine, isn't it sort of all bets are off? And if Biden doesn't address the things surrounding inflation, then all the other things he's going to look to get done are going to get a whole heck of a lot harder. He's certainly not saying, oh, MBS, he's my boy, I'm all in, but he's got a problem he's got to solve.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what tipped it for them. I think the war in Ukraine and the shortages with Russian oil coming off the market to the U.S. and to Europe is probably the thing that kind of tipped over a policy decision that Joe Biden probably didn't want to make in going to see MBS. I also think, though, Stephanie, that if you really look at this, you know, most analysis is there's not that much increased production capacity that can come out of Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Our refineries are clicking at 95% as it is. There's just broader shocks to global energy markets. And I think, you know, an increasing reluctance from the Saudis to kind of bail us out. I think on this trip, you'll probably hear some good talk out of Saudi Arabia. But, you know, I don't think MBS is a reliable actor here. And the question is he going to follow through on that talk? And as somebody that's invested $2 billion in Jared Kushner's, you know, investment knowledge, is that person really someone who wants to help Joe Biden? Along the lines that you're saying, you know, make it through the midterms and make it into 2024. I just don't trust the guy. And I do think at the end of the day, when you're framing this rightly as a question of democracy versus autocracy in this country and around the world, you know, MBS is on the wrong side of that debate.
So that right there, do you think this is a bigger risk? You go to Saudi Arabia, you try to play ball. They don't want to play ball with us. I mean, truly, MBS wrote a massive check to Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, during Stop the Steal, that's where he was. He was overseas locking in his next career. So is this administration foolish to think they could ever get anything done with somebody like MBS, especially given who he is to the Trump family?
I think that they have to have and probably do have pretty low expectations about just how much they can get out of MBS here. You know, they'll get a little bit more on the normalization process with Israel, which frankly was already in train because the Saudis have backed these Abraham Accords from behind the scenes. They might get some positive statements on energy markets that help in the immediate term. But in the long run, you still have that image of a president of the United States going to MBS after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and frankly, after a lot of other problematic behavior, a multi-year war in Yemen, that it was a mistake for the Obama administration to support. It's been a mistake to continue U.S. support ever since then. You've had Saudi support for withdrawing from the Iran deal, and now you have Iran on the doorstep of having enough material for a nuclear weapon. So again, I just don't think that in the long run, the cost of those images with MBS and how that's going to complete the kind of laundering of his reputation. He's been trying everything from a golf league to a Justin Bieber conference. He's been trying everything to open back those floodgates so the businesses and the investments are coming back into Saudi Arabia. That's what's in it for MBS, and that's a lot here. And I think in the long run, he's not a reliable partner and friend of the United States, certainly not of a Democratic president. But, you know, as I said, I don't put this all on Joe Biden. I think most people in the White House would be doing what he's doing for all the reasons that you've cited. I just think at some point we have to address this gap between what we say, the story we tell about who we are in the world in democracy and climate change, and what the world sees us doing.
Ben Rhodes, every time you are here, you make us smarter. I'm really grateful you joined us tonight.
Thanks, Stephanie.